Isabella Milano. Un momento. Un momento. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Un Momento with Isabella Milano. I am super pleased to introduce today's guest. This is Gabriella Sundar Singh. She is an actress, singer, pianist, and classically trained Bharatanatyam dancer who you might recognize from the critically acclaimed CBC television sitcom series Kim's Convenience. Please join me in welcoming the incredible Ms. Gabriella Sundar Singh. Gabriella, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Isabella.
Could you tell us a little bit about finding out what it was like being chosen to play Chelsea on Kim's Convenience? Like, how did this come about?
Totally. Um, it's funny because this is one of those roles that like it wasn't supposed to happen or almost didn't happen. I had an audition for Kim's for a completely different character a few months prior, and it was going to be like a short kind of walk-on-ish, role, a few lines, like very supporting character, and it would have just been for that one episode. And I was prepping for the audition, to the show was kind of blowing up and I was super excited. So I did my research and like watched the episodes from the first season and was like prepping myself because this would have been for season two. And the night before the audition got canceled because they'd done a rewrite and that character that I would have played was written out. And I was like, like kind of heartbroken because when there's a show that you're really interested in being a part of, you kind of you give that much more to the audition because you really care about the project. Anyway, so I kind of had to let that go. And a few months later, this audition came up, and I was like, okay, so I'll prep. I kind of know the tone of the show. I'll go do my best. And I thought it was a one-off, like this character Chelsea, from what I knew, was just supposed to be this one-off character. So I went in and did my best audition and got the call, and this was still a bit like earlier in my career after leaving theater school. So like I remember like hanging up the phone and screaming and like running and finding my parents and excited that I even just got to, this one part. But this one part, which is what I thought, ended up becoming a recurring guest guest star, which I totally didn't expect. I got asked back for season three for, I think it was like, we want to ask you back for one more episode. And then my agent called and said, oh yeah, two more episodes. We're going to add one more. And then we're going to add one more. I just kind of kept snowballing. So I didn't know what this was going to be when it started, but I'm so thankful for what it became because it was completely unexpected. So it was just that much more, I guess, precious and sweet the more like it grew. Like every new episode, every new opportunity was just like, yeah, again, so precious to me.
Wow, I think that totally captures like the actor kind of experience. I think you never know when you're going to get that call back and what that might lead to. What was it like working alongside, such a diverse cast? You have names like Simu Liu, Paul Sun Hyun Lee, Jin Yoon, Andrea Bang, and Andrew Fung. Like just to name a few that come to mind. Like that's just really awesome.
Mm.
What was that like for you?
It was an absolute honor to be able to work with those incredibly talented artists. I only got to do, I think, an episode or two with Paul and just an episode with Jean, and they are just true like masters at their craft. So even being able to watch them work and then being able to work beside them, like that is such an incredible gift to work with people who really know their craft and and they know the biz and they're so good with people and they're so generous with themselves and their time. I will never forget being able to do even those like few episodes with them and as for the rest of the cast, everyone was so again incredibly generous with their time, and we all I think knew that we were creating something really special And for me, I was just happy when I got to come and just be a part of it and do my episode. But being able, like, even as a fan, I'm a fan of the show. So being able to watch the show and watch the diverse cast also portray these really diverse and human, very Toronto stories, that was really special to me. I, there's something about this show. It has a quality of being very. My sister would say this. It's like it's very Toronto, not just like the locations, but like the attitudes of the characters and the people. It's like so Toronto. That's so special. So I'm so thankful to have been part of a show like that, and then work alongside a cast who's just they're so good. They're so good at what they do, and that comes across in the show. And like they're so witty and funny and like loving, and like none of that is acting. That's them. So I'm glad I got a taste of that for the time that I was on the show. And I think I learned a lot. I learned a lot from even just watching. Yeah.
Wow, what an experience. Yeah, I think that's really nice to see that Canadian representation too of like, the immigrant parents and the growing up in a place like Toronto. So you can see a lot of youth really connecting to those stories in their own ways. And yeah, can imagine how awesome it is to be a part of something like that. So yeah, you have also like you work at the Shaw Festival in Niagara on the Lake, which I've seen you in various shows and plays. So you have like musicals. Could you describe like a favorite memory, kind of from your doing live performances? Because I really miss those, and now they're starting to come back.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. This is my fourth season back at the Shaw Festival. I'm here in Niagara on the lake right now. Well, I'm zooming to you from a closet, but but I promise you, out there is Niagara on the lake, and we are about to open shows. There are some concerts and shows that are opening tomorrow. If tomorrow's Friday, we start our first preview for a paid audience tomorrow, and it is so wild and exciting to think about being, like you said, like back with a live audience. And I think some of my favorite memories are from the 2019 season when I did the Russian play, because part of the role of Sonia that I was playing is direct address. So she looks right to the audience and talks to the audience. And anytime you get, you talk about it's breaking the fourth wall essentially. But anytime you get to do that and really, really be there with the audience, and you kind of take away the conceit of, yeah, 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 we know this is a play. We know we're all sitting in a dark theater and there's lighting hitting me and I'm wearing a costume. Like we know this, and you get to connect on this. You get to connect on this whole different level. And particularly with that show, we were talking about love and the highs and lows, and truly the pitfalls of love and falling in love. So I would look out into the audience, and I would find, every audience member reacts differently to like being truly looked at, and some people would kind of shy away, and some people would look right back at me and nod. And it was so interesting. It was the first show I did where people would actually like talk back to me.
Wow.
So because I was looking at them and I was connecting with them, some of them felt comfortable enough to shout back and say, "Yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh, don't I know it?" And I'd go, "Oh, wow." It was just such a different theater experience. I'd never experienced anything like that. And especially when I would be talking about heartbreak and love, and there'd be women in the audience, all different ages, who'd go, "Oh yeah, I know." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." And we would connect on that level, and I don't know. I don't know how to really put this into words, but it took me out of the role of being an actor, and like for a moment, and just being human and being there with a room full of people. And that's what that show, particularly that's what that show, that's the way it's written. But the way we staged it, and the way my director gave me the freedom, Diana Donnelly gave me the freedom to really just be there with the audience, and I could take moments sometimes to just like be there and laugh and kind of suss people out. Uh, That was a magical show. I will never, yeah. I think those are some of my favorite live theater experiences because that was live. I never knew how the audience was going to react. There was a bit of actual interaction where I'd hand a program to somebody at the beginning and then I'd take it back. Or no, they'd give me a program and I'd give it back, or however that went. And sometimes the audience member would refuse to give me their program because not everybody's comfortable with like two-way interactive theater, so they'd kind of like refuse, and I'd stick my hand out and go like, no, like I need to see your program. And that was always fun because that part was improv. I never knew how they were gonna react, and I just had to play the moment. I love anything that's like live. We're like you said, we're about to get back to all that live quality very soon, very soon.
It is exciting because you usually kind of reserve those types of interactions for backstage or
Mm.
after a show, right? But to do this during the show as the entertainment, with the audience, that really is a special kind of role to play. So that's really awesome that you prepared and that you did that, but it was still kind of improv at the moment because you never know who's going to be sitting in that seat the next show. Yeah. What does like I know that we've spoken obviously about this, that excitement of live performing. How does it compare with being on set for TV versus being at the Shaw?
Yeah. Um, the way they compare is that there's so many similarities, at least for me, in terms of being a performer. I try not to change or do too much. I think for me, I think the same skills and a lot of the same rules apply. You you do your text work ahead of time, you discover your character, you memorize your lines, you prep yourself, you do the thing. And for me, it's always performance and embodying a character and using your imagination. So for me, there are a lot of similarities in those two like venues and places of performance. But there's just like there's this really fun thing for me that happens on set where you're doing it over and over and over again, right? Like in the moment, and you have a chance to try things a little different, like switch it up and try and you're really trying to hit the tone of what the director is going for based on the script that's been written. They have an idea of how they want it to go, and you're really in the moment and you don't have too much time. You're really trying to kind of do a bit of mind reading and also give a bit of your own flavor and just trying to hit it, and you can feel it when you're doing it, and it locks and you go, oh, I think that's the take. But there's no feedback loop, and the feedback loop that you get from live theater and live performance, that's the best part of live performance is, you know you deliver a little joke no matter how cheesy it is, and off in the distance somewhere you hear someone giggle like somebody got that joke. Or you you perform something that's a bit more dramatic and heartbreaking, and you look out in the audience, or you can hear sobs or see tears, and you go, wow, like I'm affecting somebody. So there's something about like the liveness of theater and live performance that I just adore, and that's what keeps me coming back. But I mean, again, like another great thing about like TV and film is you get to see your product after, and I get to. I mean, that's how I learn. I watch my episodes of Kim's as they would come out every week, and I go, oh, this is what I thought I was doing, but this is what was right on camera, and I go, cool, 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 and then I can learn a bit more for the next episode, or learn a bit more for the next season, or for the next audition. I love being able to see, and not everybody loves to watch the work that they do or watch themselves on screens, and I totally get that. But I try to use it as a almost like an acting class or a master class, and I go, what can I learn from that? Versus with theater, and I say this all the time. We were just doing a run of Charlie's Aunt here at the Shaw Festival yesterday evening. I said to one of my fellow actors backstage, oh man, I really wish I could watch this one. The design of our show is so beautiful, and it's a comical, it's a farce. It's like really like funny and cheesy and sweet, and I love it. And this is one of those shows that I wish I could be an audience member. I wish there was a recording or something so I could see it, because I think it's going to be really, I can only tell from the inside, but I think it's really sweet, and I think it's really good. I think It's a really good show. But yeah, I mean, this is why I like doing theater and TV and film, because I get a bit of a taste of each and I get to kind of bounce back and forth and learn from all those experiences. And I don't know if I could choose one over the other. I don't know how to think about that.
Yeah, they all have their own different qualities that are really magical. That's for sure. Like looking back at your work and versus, feeling something from the energy that you get on stage when you were preparing to do that joke or, that number. So, yeah, no, I can definitely understand. And I think it's really admirable that you take that opportunity to watch your work because that can be super difficult when, you're trying to learn from it or just kind of set back all those expectations and just watch.
Oh yeah. It was really awkward at first. The first few things I ever shot, I could like barely like look at the screen. I'd literally have to watch between my fingers and like ask my mom and dad. I'd be like, "Can you watch it and tell me when it's over and we'll record and I'll watch it back later." And now I just go, "Okay, well, this it's the best opportunity for me to learn and just get better at my craft." So I take a deep breath and I go, okay, well, whatever it is what it is, and I can't control, right? Because once you perform, once it's on tape or once you're out on stage, once you do it, it's out there, and I don't get to choose how it's received. I don't get to choose how it's framed and edited, right? So I have to do my job and then leave it in the hands of all the really talented people, and then just trust that I did the right thing or I did good work, or just know that like it's enough. It's enough. Whatever I've done is enough. And then also like build a bit of thick skin. It is hard to watch yourself sometimes, but
Stay tuned to catch part 2 of Gabriella's interview on Un Momento. And thank you so very much for watching today's episode of Un Momento with Isabella Milano. I appreciate all of your support so very much, and I love you all so much. So remember to dream big and reach for the stars. Till next time.